Glory Hunters. I'm Ben and I'm joined by my EFL partner in podcasting crime, which might be the worst introduction ever, Reese Curtis. And if you have been following the news, legendary English footballer, Man United legend Wayne Rooney, he has of course joined Plymouth Argyle, which is absolutely baffling. If you are an English football supporter, then you do know how absolutely dreadful he has been in every job he has been in down here in England. So, Reese, after Wayne Rooney left Birmingham, we'll discuss his career in a little more detail in a minute. Did you ever think he'll find another job again?
No, I'll be honest, I think it seems like Birmingham disaster show, if we're being honest. It was less than 3 months. You look at 9 losses from 15 games, there was no spark. You look at the fantastic job that John Eustace done prior, and maybe that added a lot of unnecessary pressure onto Wayne Rooney because the fans expected a playoff campaign, expected that momentum to be carried through, and it never was. But the disappointing thing for me, looking back at Birmingham's season as a whole, is that on paper, that's a very, very good side. That's not a side that next season should be playing League One football.
And I think it's worth noting for context that Wayne Rooney's managerial career so far started at Derby County. He was there from November 2020 to June 2022. So he was there for quite a while. Didn't do that badly, actually. Got 24 wins, 22 draws, and 39 losses, a 28.2 win percentage. Moved to DC United, and he was significantly worse there. Lost 25 games, only won about 14. And of course, we all know what happened at Birmingham. He had a 13.3 win percentage, winning 2, losing 9. Reese, he has signed on a 3-year contract. The argument that I would make is, look, Wayne Rooney is joining a much smaller side in the Championship with much younger players as well. Could he maybe inspire them to mid-table mediocrity?
The thing is, I'm looking back at Wayne Rooney's previous spells and I'm really trying to find signs of optimism. Give me a sign that this will be a success, and I can't seem to find anything. You look back at that spell with DC United, and I don't follow the MLS too closely, but they're a side that should be getting into the playoffs in the American League. He failed to deliver that as well. So you look at Derby's relegation, which obviously there was a lot of off-the-field issues with. You had the point deduction for the financial misuse, so you can almost sort of disregard that, but that's still a knock on his sort of career. Then you look at DC United, where he failed the playoffs. You look at the absolute disaster show at Birmingham, and the only positive, or if I'm playing devil's advocate, the only thing I could find as a sort of saving grace is the fact that there isn't much expectation on Plymouth this coming season. You look for people's predictions online and they are expected to be fighting towards relegation zone. So realistically, any sort of mid-table and above, that's success for Plymouth next season, and that's quite a low bar.
And I was just about to mention that because most people online are already writing Plymouth off. They're already saying that Plymouth are going to get relegated. That is a pretty poor indictment, really, on how people rate Wayne Rooney. So why do owners still go after Rooney? He isn't a good manager. He hasn't done much. He got a very good Birmingham side relegated last season. Let's remember, if you are not familiar with the Championship, when Rooney took over at Birmingham, they were 4th in the league table, and he got them relegated, essentially. So why do owners still go after him?
I think it's genuinely just the fact you have Wayne Rooney at your football club. You have that incredible footballer for Everton, for Manchester United, the records he broke in an England international shirt as well. And I genuinely think it's just the name. There's no other inspiration there. You look through the previous spells and there's no reason to really get positive, is there? Let's be totally frank. But if I'm being devil's advocate, because there's a lot of people, including ourselves, who are slamming this appointment. Let's play devil's advocate. If you are Wayne Rooney, isn't this almost an ideal job? It's a job where the pressure is relatively low because Plymouth aren't expected to move any trees next season. If you keep that side up, that's success. And I don't see any other side in the Championship where purely survival is considered a very successful season.
But I do think it's a really poor indictment on Neil Dewsnip, their current director of football. Because why go after Rooney? Like, I get it, there's relatively low expectations there. But if I was like a Plymouth supporter, I'd look at some of the players that they have at the moment. Like Morgan Whittaker, he was absolutely brilliant for them last season, got into the Championship team of the season. And I'd maybe say to myself, look, we can maybe aim for better. Rooney to Plymouth, again, it's such a poor appointment. I don't get the ideology behind it. Is Dewsnip doing it just because he'll bring money into the city? Is he doing it just because, like Rooney's still a big name? So, it is genuinely baffling to me. And yeah, what are your thoughts on the idea that Rooney could potentially bring some revenue to Plymouth?
I think that's only sort of one stream. I don't think that's really what fans are annoyed about. I think if you look at the bigger picture, you look at the sort of the pool of managers, if we like, that are available. Danny Rule, I know he's signed a contract at Sheffield Wednesday. That was only recently. They could have maybe made a really audacious move to look at him. They could have looked at Liam Rossini. Obviously, there's a massive debate to be had about the way in which he left Hull City. You look at Carlos Cuesta at Arsenal. He's now lining up for his first managerial job. And you look at the quality within that pool, and you're a Plymouth fan, and you're thinking, oh, I'd love a Rosinia, I'd love a Cuesta. We're moving in the right direction. We're going to bring in a big name. This is our time. And then you check Twitter, and it's Wayne Rooney. It's not exactly inspiring, is it?
No, it isn't. And look, because Plymouth Argyle, to those who are watching, they're a team relatively close by to me. And down here in the southwest, there's only one. By southwest, I'm talking about Devon, Cornwall. There's only one big team, well, two, Exeter and Plymouth Argyle. Now, most people down here in Cornwall, they support Plymouth Argyle, and it's quite a big club down here who have never been in the Premier League, but they've been typically a Championship team, and now they've gone for a manager with a really poor track record. So, if you are a Plymouth Argyle supporter, let us know what you think about the appointment down below in the comments. Would be delighted to hear from you. And finally, Reese, before we do sign off, because I think we're both on the same page in this debate, where do you think Plymouth will finish next season?
The thing is, you could go with what makes sense, can't you? And what makes sense is it's going to be a very long and a very, very challenging season for Argyle. And realistically, I can't sit here and say anything other than relegation. I really can't. The only slight twist I'll put on it is there a pressure on Plymouth. I think there's pressure on Wayne Rooney because it's her last roll of the dice in terms of managerial job. But on pressure on Plymouth as a club, I don't think there is, and maybe that works to their advantage.
And of course, thank you very much for watching this video. We do, of course, host the Football League Weekly. We run that podcast on Over the Bar, a footballing vlog channel, which basically covers everything from the Bundesliga to La Liga to the Premier League and, of course, the EFL as well. So simply type Over the Bar FB into your YouTube search engine and you will be able to find us, like and subscribe to us as well.